Oh, we're live.
Hey guys, we are live. I want to say welcome. What's up? Welcome to the Camille Tyler Show and Feature Friday. Oh yeah, we're always featuring peeps like peeps. Oh, peeps like this lady right here.
There you go. I wasn't sure what you were doing.
This lady right here who's rocking her business. You know me, I'm Camille Tyler from Austin, Texas, and I am a rock star producer. Oh yeah, helping, teaching women certain strategies to rock their biz online, to rock their brand, and get off the struggle bus and get going online. And I want to talk to you. I want you to meet my friend Stephanie. She is a rock star. I was looking for my shades. They're on my damn head. You know. Woo!
Oh, there we go.
Right. So I guess we've been friends with. Have we been friends with almost 2 years now?
Almost 2 years, I think.
We went to a 3-day training here in Austin. Stephanie came all the way to Austin to see me. No, we were attending a workshop, and we just connected, and we've gone on different paths, but we really focused in on our brands. Okay, her brand is not my brand, thank God, because I don't think online people there is enough room for two Camilles.
Couldn't handle it. They couldn't. You might shake up the world a little bit.
Exactly. So I want you to tell us a little bit about who you are, what you're all about, and talk to us about how you developed your niche, your space, and your brand, and how I see you every day, what your hobby is, and how you incorporate that into your brand. That is what I preach, and you're doing it, sister.
Awesome. Camille, thank you so much for having me. I just love this. Yes, we connected. We didn't know each other at this workshop and connected. And like immediately, I'm like, Camille just has this infectious energy that I absolutely love. I love what she's doing online. I know she's got some amazing followers, and she's doing such a terrific job that I believe in, but she's just an awesome person too, and just fun and bubbly to be around. Crack up every time I watch her on live. And I interviewed her on my podcast. We'll talk about that a little bit. Just shortly, that'll probably be coming out next week, and she's just amazing. So thank you so much for having me. So excited to be here. So my name's Steph Shinabery. If you look me up, it is actually Stephanie, but I haven't gone by that in about 20 or 30 years. So I actually go by Steph. So if you're looking me up on Facebook, it will be Steph. My mama still calls me Stephanie. So
you're gonna put your link to your fan page, or put your link in the comment section so people can get to you. Okay.
I will. I definitely will. So I fell into the online world like a lot of people do, kind of by mistake, I think. Was in network marketing and knew people were killing it. And I'm like, I'm tired of these hotel meetings. So got online. That's how I met Camille. So I Googled how to get leads. We went to this company thing that taught us how to do a lot of the things that we're doing. And I'm very grateful for that. I'm not in network marketing anymore. I fell in love with marketing. I fell in love with people and prospecting and networking. And then I realized, and I've always loved to teach and coach. That's just kind of my thing. I'm an athlete. I do anesthesia for a living still. I'm trying to retire that job, but I'm a nurse anesthesiologist. And so I've always been teaching since I don't remember when. So as soon as I learn something, I'm always ready to share it with people. And my whole mission in life is to help people to do the thing that lights them up and to reach their highest potential. And so I figured out the way that I like to do that the best is to help them find out what their thing is and help them to monetize it, market it, and kind of like that. And so what I've really discovered, and this has been what I really fell in love with. So let me just pause and take a breather here. I'm an artist as well. And so what I really figured out that I like doing is all the creative stuff. So I started trying to help people. Well, I started helping people create their offers. And so the thing is, people think the offer is just like the package that you put together to hand to the person, to the client, but really it's a lot more than that. And what I really like is it starts with your signature, unique signature system, your framework. And that's really what you're doing with people, is you're taking people from where they want to go, their pain points, what they're crying about, what they're dreaming about, to where they want to go, to the promise that you can help them achieve. And so we figure out how they get there with all the little checkpoints along the way, and creating this customer journey for them. So, and what I mean by customer journey is you're actually taking them on the path, so they'll know where they are the whole time. So they'll know that they're supposed to be frustrated at step 2. They know that's what they're supposed to feel like, because you've taken them there and you've helped create that frustration at that step, because they're having to try new things. And you're going to tell them by the time they get to step 5, they're going to feel amazing. So you create this whole process for them. And it just makes for good coaching programs. And the really cool thing is, which kind of ties into what Camille does, is your unique system that sets you up as an authority, as an expert, and makes you stand out online, and tying all the messaging in with that. So that's a long-winded short version. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Well, awesome. I'm about helping people get branded so people know their gosh darn name. Stephanie,
Right.
We know that there are so many people out there we know that there's so many people out there that you have a voice, and whatever your product or service is, they need to package that as an offer like you help them with, but they need to get branded, okay? Because it's a noisy place out there. And something that I recently did is I thought I was I'm a teacher at heart, okay? I started babysitting kids at 12 years old. So, honey, I've been doing this damn thing at almost 50 years. But at daycare, and I love to teach.
Yes.
Okay. And so I branded myself as a coach, but I felt like I'm teaching a branding coach about coaches, and the word coaching has been way overused. Can I hear an amen? I mean, do you understand what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
Right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So I decided, okay, well, I came up with my Rockstar brand, Rock Your Biz, Rock Your Brand, Rock Your List, Rock, Y-O, whatever. I grabbed the URL, Rock Your Biz. I started creating this brand to grab attention, so people would know me, okay? So when you go online, they know that's you, because chances are pretty near every time you see me online, I got something on my head and I got some shades in my back pocket, and I'm kind of swelled.
You definitely have your own unique brand for sure.
So, and that was a struggle, because I tried several different brands. I tried stuff, but back up to being a coach. And I said, what do you do, Camille? And I looked at my course I give my students, and I went through as I was cleaning out my offer, and I was rewriting and making sure my course was tidy. I decided that, what do you do? We have to ask ourselves who we are and who we serve, right?
Absolutely.
And we have to realize I am a rock star coach. And I said, F that. I am not no rock star coach. I'm a producer, baby. Woo!
Well, and I love that that's what you did, is you actually defined a new role. And I think the problem is, what happens is, when we're and this is just normal. It's like a toddler learning to walk. We learn things by mimicking others. It's like artists or anesthesia or whatever it is that you're learning how to do. That's how you learn, and that's okay. It's okay to learn that way, to show people your journey. But at some point, you can't just keep regurgitating the things that you learned. And so you have to you take all these different things, you put them through your filter, you find out what you're good at, what lights you up, and then you make that into your own thing. And I think the problem is that we see what's working and we try to do that. And that's what's working for somebody else is not necessarily going to work for you, because they've already got that spot. And I think, I've been using this a lot. I'm not sure where I heard it. I've heard it before, but it's kind of like a spiritual thing too. So getting out of the competitive mind into the creative mind. And if you think about that, it's not like they're going to run out of spots for you. Then yours is already going to be taken. It's like, the online world has a niche or a spot for you with your name on it. It's your job to figure that out. You have to figure that out. And you do that by failing, by trying things like, you just got to keep trying different messages. You can't just say, well, this message works for Camille, I'm going to just change a couple of words here. No, it's got to be your personality. It's got to be what you resonate with from your heart, getting out of your head into your heart to communicate. And really, that's just about talking to a lot of people and finding out what problem that they're having in their words. That's the key, in their words, not the problem that you see them having. Because if you tell somebody that they have an anxiety disorder, that may not be what they're seeing that they have. They may say, no, I just can't focus because I just can't focus because I got so much stress in my life or something. They're going to be saying something else, and it's going to be the thing that's keeping them up at night. So it's really just about finding yourself in your own voice. And that's why it's so much to work with people, because here's one more thing, is that when you're trying to figure all this out, I really believe you need a coach or a Rockstar producer, or wherever you need a mentor. And what I mean by that is, and I see it all the time. I see these people, like I've got some meetings coming up with like some 6 and 7 figure earners that are being very successful in their business, but they still don't quite have their framework or their offer dialed in. And they want another brain involved, because we just can see things different when people reflect things back to us.
Yeah, and that's why I appreciate we're in a mastermind group together where we earn affiliate commissions, and that's how we met. And I put my funnel out there, my offer, and I had people rip it apart, and I was like upset about it for a minute. I was going like, wait a minute, Camille, they're showing you what you don't see. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that's what.
I didn't see that. So
yeah.
You have to stand out online. And when I first started, I wanted to do branding and blogging and showing people. And so I thought I was trying to brainstorm how I could be a little bit a different coach in the marketplace, be something different. And so I decided that I wanted people to beef up your brand. So I was taking off the old 80s commercial, where's the beef? Like add cows. And I went to the ranch and I did videos in the country with cows in the background. I mean, I was all about that, but
that's awesome.
Nobody responded. Nobody got it. Nobody understood what I mean by beef up. I guess it's just a Texas thing or a Southern thing. They didn't understand what beef up meant. No one understood that. So you have to get your message crystal clear with your brand. Don't you agree?
Yeah, and I think there's two things. There are two different things here that I want to make a point of. First of all, beef up. I would have known immediately what you mean, because I'm your neighbor in Arkansas. However, it just wasn't landing with your ideal client. But what I want to point out is kind of goes back to what I was talking about finding yourself, and you have to do a lot of trial. I mean, good God, that is so creative what you were doing. Like, that's how you just have to try different things.
And so I wanted to stand out online. So I had this raggedy cowboy hat. I take down the river, it's all ripped. And it's like you wear it when you go tubing down the river. When you go to the lake, it's like you're camping. Like it's.
I know what you're
saying. On the back porch, it looks like it's dirty. I even my husband was wanting to toss an old cowboy hat of his, and I took it over, man, and I'd wear it when I do videos because I knew I needed to stand out. So part of your brand is not only your message, but it's your hashtag, it's your brand. It's nailing it down. And because I failed and I went through the process myself, and I spent a lot of money on branding courses that weren't really worth a hill of beans, I'm paying.
Yeah. Well, but you figured out how to take those and improve upon them, create something different and better.
Right. So
Yeah.
we could, so I worked on it. So I'm not teaching people. I'm teaching people different things. I'm teaching people that there is something else. Hi Sheila, thanks for coming on. But my whole branding course, and then I decided that in January I needed to scale down my Rock Your Biz Academy because it's 6 weeks. It was too much for people to handle, and no wonder I wasn't having a good success promoting my product is because it was everything they need, but people can only take bites. You can't take the whole Thanksgiving dinner in one bite,
Right.
So I created Rock Your Biz Express, which goes over the whole branding course, goes over how to rock your list, how to get your email marketing campaign rocking and rolling, how to content, and your first offer, how to create content that draws people in. Okay, so let's just talk about that real quick, Stephanie. How do you create content that draws people in? And then you can tell us about your podcast.
Perfect question. I want to answer that. I want to speak just a second to talking about the language, because you were talking about, like, first of all, being able to articulate what you do, but not using the same buzzwords that everyone else uses. Like I'm like, offer, irresistible offer. Like I've been using that, but I'm shifting away from that because like everybody's using irresistible offer. And so this is speaking to branding. So coming up with something that is the same meaning, but it's yours, and claiming that, just like Camille, like talking about your own hashtags. So coming up with your own vernacular for your own program. So I love this question about content and drawing people in. And I'm not going to talk about attraction marketing here because I know you get that from Camille all the time, but creating your own signature system, what that does is it's your own process of how you take people through the journey, through the path that you're taking them on to the result. And so that has like maybe 4 or 5 pillars or 6 or 7 steps or whatever. That's a different, ingredient to get them there. And so that's really, once you get that mapped out, that's your content map. You never have to like search for content again. Now you can take different people's viewpoints and plug that in and even throw rocks at theirs and say, not, and I don't know if you guys know what I mean by throwing rocks. So if you don't, and I don't mean that in a negative way. What I mean is,
well, we understand. Well, we said,
yeah, if you're throwing rocks at somebody else's marketing, you're pointing out a weakness that you see and say, you can still say, hey, I respect this person. Hey, I love what they're doing. However, I see it a little bit different. And so here's what they're leaving out. And so, I feel like people that are in offer creation are leaving out how to create a unique signature solution, and how to use your own language to explain that in your own customer journey. So once you get all of that mapped out, that system, you never have to worry about creating, like you'll create content from that, but that's all your topics. Like you never have to go like, what am I going to talk about? And then all of that stuff is part of your program. So it all should lead back to your program. So you can be making these like mini calls to action about your program every day on social media when you're talking, because you're always talking about that stuff.
Well, exactly. So if you like my free PDF on how to get your business rocking and rolling and rock your personal profile, baby, you just get the word rock in the section, and I'll send over my free PDF on on how to rock your biz. Okay.
Right.
So I created my own one page landing page, right? And it was really easy for me because I am my brand. Okay. When you become your brand and let your brand become you instead of being 2 separate things, it was really easy. And I had so many compliments of the people that reviewed it. They were going like, you are spot on. You have a bandana on. You every single word I was saying in that whole, capture page was rock your biz, get your branding right, was I use the terminology with my brand. So
Right.
how and what you're saying is, and to make that myself. So I realized about 3 weeks ago that I really, I mean, I know I teach people how to blog and I teach people how to get exposure in the marketplace, but it wasn't narrowed down enough. So I decided from now till the end of now for the next 6 months, I am just going to focus in on one part of it. I can teach you how to do a lot of stuff, but my key for you to get rocking and rolling in line is to get that Rockstar brand. And
Right.
so and it ain't easy. I got it. It's 10 steps, but
Yeah.
the steps, and you take them one at a time.
Right.
But you get more exposure by hashtags. You can get more exposure by having that brand so people know who you are.
Right.
So
can I want to speak, if I don't know if Sheila's still on here, but she said your own keywords. So essentially, yes. Now I'm not talking about if you can create your own words, that's great, but that's not really exactly what I mean. But what I'm saying is like, using, so like customer journey. Everybody talks about the customer journey, but does everybody really know exactly what the customer journey is? So what you can do is say, when you're like when I'm talking to people about taking people through, my program, I'm talking about taking them on the customer journey from where they are to where they want to go. But I can say what I mean by that is, taking people through a process of a step by steps of, these different checkpoints. So getting vernacular that's unique to your to what you're doing in your brand, and just continuing to use those things over, and not necessarily borrowing from the people that are already doing something very similar, maybe changing it up a little bit, if it fits. If it doesn't fit, that's okay too. But a lot of people in ClickFunnels, for example, they use the same terminology, irresistible offer, customer journey framework.
It makes me want to throw up.
So it's just like
it's your create a rocket offer.
Yeah. Well, exactly. So exactly. So mine is, well, I've got a challenge coming up next week, and it's Rock Your Epic Offer. And so because I couldn't use I talk about irresistible offer. Do what?
A sparkle offer.
Yeah, or a sparkle offer, or something that, it's like irresistible is, understand it's a great term, because what it means is it's hard for people to say no to your offer. I have a mentor that calls it the DAO offer, DAO, like DAO, the Chinese thing, but that's not what it means. It means dumbass offer. In other words, I would be a dumbass not to take this offer. It's a DAO offer. Okay.
It's a DAO offer, baby.
Yeah, I hope it's okay. I said that on there, but
that's okay.
And then the other one, you've heard no-brainer offer. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. So, and we can use these terms interchangeably, but it's really not our brand because somebody else has already taken it. So trying to come up with just a different way to say these things, it's okay to use that. It's okay to use those, but trying to come up with some of your own terminology as well.
Yeah, let's see if you're a grandmother of 5 and you love to garden.
Yeah,
you can bring the gardening to everything you love about what you love. I love the beach and stuff, but like whatever you love to do in gardening, that's part of your brand. You're talking to people. You're talking about pulling the weeds. You got to water your offer. You got to use your passion into your brand.
Use your analogy. So that's a perfect example.
I love gardening, but
so it's a perfect example of using stories in your process. So the best place to get your stories are in your experience. So a lot of times when I'm talking to someone about what I do, a lot of times I'll use the analogy of health or the body, or bicycles, because I love to ride bicycles and and that kind of stuff. So I'll talk about some of the hard, like bicycle races that I've done, and how kind of, sometimes some of the stuff I'm doing online feels as hard as that, and how it's similar to get through it. And
for that, you're going to find your perfect peeps. Okay. When you start talking about what you love, the term, and you start sprinkling, and I teach this in my branding course.
Right.
You teach that you sprinkle in that bike terminology. Like what do you say when you're going up a hill? What are some slangs for going up a hill on a bike?
Yeah. So cranking, you're cranking, or you're going all out, or let's see what
going all out, cranking.
Yeah,
So
cranking. Grinding, you're grinding uphill, you're crushing.
You take a piece of paper and you write what you love. And then you start throwing up all those terms that you can use to set yourself apart in the marketplace, to get your brand rocking and rolling, get your offer rocking and rolling, but incorporate those, because we got to be different. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I do. And I love this question. If it's okay for me to address this, that Sheila asked. We hear vague statements all the time. It doesn't get explained. And I agree so much. And so much of that is using these vernaculars that have been repeated so many times that no one's really explaining what it is. So a lot of people don't even know what an irresistible offer is. So I think a way to do that is when you're talking about what you do, and sometimes we forget. Like I'll talk about some marketing terminology to one of my clients, and they're like, well, I don't know what you mean by that. And it just reminds me to say, when I'm talking about stuff, is to break that down. So you might say, if I'm talking about customer journey, and I can say, well, what I mean by that is, and so if you're talking about something that you may assume that everyone knows what it is, go ahead and start practicing breaking that down and not leaving it vague or not leaving it misunderstood. Because here's the sad thing. People often they don't want to assume they don't know what people are talking about. They don't want people to think that. So instead of they won't ask. So they won't ask, and they won't get clarity, and they'll just be left in the dark. And so it's our job as people that are trying to influence to get on and say, hey, when we explain something, to go a little bit underneath that. So, if I'm trying to talk about customer journey, like, so if you're talking about customer journey, what I mean by that is, finding out where they're starting on their path, what their pains are, what their problems are, and where they want to go, and then where they are along each piece of the journey, and what frustrations they have, what learning needs they have, what victories or joys, or all these different things. So basically, just breaking it down into less. Yeah, good for you, Sheila. You do ask. I'm not, and I can tell that you ask, and I love that. But a lot of people won't. And so if we just are aware of that, then we can go ahead and say what I mean by that is, and break it down a little bit more.
Yeah, break it down that more. So I liked what you said, and of course, I'm a word course to help people with a brand, and I know you love bikes, and I'm going to challenge you to take your love for cycling, because I couldn't make it around the block on a bike. But that's your thing. But to take some of those terms you use and try them out to describe your course, to describe what you're doing, you're going to draw people in. It's going to make people think, what was that? It's going to, because we have to think back when we're 12, when we're 10, okay? We have to think back when we're 10 years old. When we hear our mom say the same thing over and over, we just go, oh, yeah, whatever. We don't listen. When we hear the same term over and over, what happens?
Right. We tune it out. Yeah, no, I do use terms, but I don't. But the problem is, if you get into a specialty that people aren't in, most of the time I use it when I'm telling stories of how that's the visceral feeling that I have on things. And sometimes I'll relate it to things But I actually started trying to do, I actually used some terminology. I was trying it out. Like, so part of my, part of how I work with people is getting in alignment before they start trying to create all this stuff, because I've done it the other way where I ended up in the weeds and I wasn't happy what I was doing. So, and so
Right.
one of the things with riding a bicycle is, and it's the same thing with anything. So if you're not in alignment, I'll tell you the story. I went on a 500-mile bike ride with 3 people. We didn't have any support. We were our own sag wagon. And we started in Franklin, Tennessee. We were going to Natchez, Mississippi. And the first 2 days were hell of a hilly. Okay. And so we had our bikes packed down. And I was on a racing bike. I had no idea that it was really different from a tour bike. This was my first early biking days. And so about in 30 miles an hour, I couldn't get my gears into the easy gear to go up the mountains, and they were leaving me behind. And I was like, what is going on? So I couldn't shift it up. So once we were stopped, I would spin the wheel and it would do this. And so basically it was not only rubbing the brake, it was doing something where I couldn't shift it. And so the wheel was out of alignment. Okay. And so I had to ride that for 2 or 3 days till we got to Jackson, Mississippi, before we could get the wheel trued. So truing is how they align it. So one of my I still use the terminology, but one of my steps was called business truing, and everybody was looking at me like, what the heck are you talking about? And so I have to be careful with, using medical language or biking language with people that aren't.
As long as they can understand it. But I love what you said by shoring up your course. I mean,
by truing. So yeah, I love that. I think truing is getting in alignment, and I love that for life, for business.
And I'm over here brainstorming like you got to get your course in the right gear.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, we use that a lot. We talk about getting in gear and and shifting, shifting and getting in gear. So yeah, there is a lot of language in different sports or whatever that you can use. It's just like when you start talking about little details, some people are like, what are you talking about?
But sprinkle those details, sprinkle your personality and your brand in there.
Definitely.
Which is going to make it more exciting, and you're not going to sound like everybody else,
Yeah, I think telling the stories, especially telling the stories to talk about, a meaning over here, how it relates to a meaning over here is so important.
It is. So how in the heck did Sheila? We appreciate all your love, guys. And if you're watching and you ain't commenting, you're missing out. Because my number one, hold your britches, kids. The number one way you can get exposure on the marketplace is twice a day. Go to your phones and it'll say live videos. Okay? All right? You just click those live videos, and when you go through those live videos and make a lot of comments, when you're doing a live video, what are you looking for? People making comments. You think you're out there by yourself, right? So
that's awesome. I love that.
When you do that, they definitely want to repay you by making comments on your post.
Yeah.
Hey, who is this? Who do we have over here? Okay. Oh. Okay, Margene, good to see you, baby. You're here too. Awesome. By making comments, what is the person on the live video going to do? They're going to recognize and talk about the person that's making a comment.
Yeah.
So that's another way to get your brand, your name in the marketplace.
That's brilliant. For
free, but you're spreading goodwill on Facebook, on social. I'm just saying. So sorry. I didn't.
No, I love it. I think I've heard that before, but I totally so I love that. I'm on it. I'm doing it. So yeah. Yeah.
Well,
cool.
I wanted to say, so tell us about the podcast. When I asked you to be on here, and then I scheduled it, and then you messaged me back. You said, "Hey, can you do a podcast recording for me?" And I go, "Sure." I'll do it.
Yeah. So and I'll send you all the details for that. But I'll get the podcast out next week. So yeah, I've been doing podcasts since March, and I was recording like for a while. I was recording like 2 and for a week, and I was just like getting burned out. So I actually took about a month off and really thought about, because I eventually I think I'm going to shift gears, because my podcast is Authority Marketing Edge. Because I really do believe it's similar to what Camille does. It's basically learning how to position yourself as an authority so that you can be seen online and start, having influence, start, helping more people, having more impact, all of that kind of stuff. So I'm talking to entrepreneurs that are like out there doing it and what they're doing. So all these different angles. And so you can find it on iTunes. I think you can find it on maybe Stitcher as well. I'm not sure, but it's Authority Marketing.
After this video, put it in the link so we can all jump out there and give you some love on your podcast.
I will. And if you are a coach or a consultant or an expert, I'm on my Facebook groups, Purpose-Driven Profits for coaches, consultants, and experts. And I do have a challenge. It's a free challenge going on there next week on creating your framework or your signature system and your offer. And I'd love to have you guys on that as well. So.
Well, that's awesome. And I want to say thanks, Stephanie, for coming on. I love you to death. You're awesome. And I hope you guys will give her some love on social. Stephanie, be sure to put your links in the comments so we can like your podcast, so we can follow it, and we can give you some social love on social media. And I'm looking right now. I'm looking for someone. The next 2 weeks, I'm looking for someone that wants to be featured on Friday. I decided that Fridays are kind of Friday afternoons are kind of and people aren't doing nothing. So I thought about doing something fun where I can women and talk to them about their business and the brands and talk to them. So, and what that does is it brings exposure to somebody else. Okay. It brings somebody else into your audience, and Stephanie's audience. Once she lets them know, I am going to run her into her audience. Okay?
Right. It's beneficial for everyone, and it's just building goodwill as well. I mean, we all need each other online. We can't do this by ourselves. I think that's like one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is like, it really takes a team, it takes a tribe, and, we're not competing with each other. We're all trying to build each other up, a rising tide lifts all ships. And so I think if we just all come at it together, like, I've got a guy right now, I'm in his coaching program, and he's sending me these incredible referrals because he doesn't do offers and frameworks. And like, this guy's a 2 Comma Club winner. Like, he could send them to anybody. He could send them to Steve Larson. I mean, so yeah. And it's all about just making those connections and, trying to like
service and being of value.
That's right. Yes. Thank you so much. This has been amazing, guys. And, Sheila, love for love. That's right. And so thanks, guys, for having me on. Thanks for all the comments and questions. And where do I drop? So I drop these in your Facebook group or on YouTube?
No, well, you can just put them in the comment section below. I'm gonna shut off the live video, but this will be up between you and me.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Take care, guys. Yeah. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you soon.
Cool.